I call to order the meeting of Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Reverend Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor Luther.
Here.
Dr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Raleigh.
Here.
Mayor Saunders.
Here.
Mr. Shanks.
Here.
Mr. Tomer.
Here.
Please stand and remain standing for the prayer and the pledge, given tonight by Councilmember Buddy Raleigh.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for another day and your gift of life. Father, my prayer tonight is that at this time of the year that we would all remember somebody that we're thankful for this past year. And not only would we remember who that person is, but we would tell them that. We just are so blessed, and we need to make sure we let people understand how thankful we are for them. Also at this time of the year, for us that are blessed, we need to give back for those that may be struggling now. Guide and direct us as we do that. Be with us tonight in this meeting. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raleigh. On announcement and special recognition, we do have tonight with us Mr. Eric Deaton. He's with the Danville Medical Center. Very proud to have him. Please come forward, sir. If you wish to introduce your bodyguards, that's up to you. But we're glad to have you, and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, thank you for having me tonight. I do have with me tonight Leslie Smith, who's the Community Relations Director with us, and Kelly Fitzgerald, who's our Director of Marketing as well. And then our new Chief Financial Officer, Dennis Ith, and Dennis has been with us for about a month now, so very glad to have Dennis with us. He and his family are moving here from Florence, South Carolina, so we're delighted to have Dennis join us, and very glad they'll all be here, buy a home soon, and be a part of the Danville community.
Welcome to all, and the population just increased by one.
It'll be 4 by the time they all get here, so
Plus 3.
that'll be great. I did want to give you a few updates of things that are going on. It's been a really busy fourth quarter at the hospital, and as I know many of you attended and were able to see that our new affiliation with Duke expanded beyond our cardiac program to also include quality oversight. And this is a great affiliation for us. It's actually the first one like it in the country that Duke has actually done a quality affiliation agreement. So it allows us to really to raise the level of safety, especially in our hospital. We're really trying to change the culture and continue to grow the culture where every employee that is working there can always say that it's a very safe place to work and it's a safe place for our patients to be. So it's going to be a great addition. We'll be working on it in the coming months, and I'll be giving you additional updates as we roll that plan out in the future. As you also know, we have a new logo at the hospital. I think the logo had been updated many years ago, and so it was time to look at something different there. And we really wanted to incorporate the river into that and felt like that the river brings life. It's a very important part of our community, and we're very proud to have that as a part of our new logo. And so we have logos on our lapel and throughout the hospital everywhere, and so very, very proud of that as well. I have a couple of new directors. Dr. Michael Marvany is our hospitalist director, and Dr. Marvany's doing a great job in a physician, and Sherry Hammock has been promoted to our CCU and stepped down unit director. And Sherry's been a nurse with us for a number of years, doing a fantastic job. We were recently awarded with 2 awards, the 2011 Gold Performance Achievement Award and the AHA and ASA Silver Achievement Award. These are both awards related to our cardiac program, and I'm very, very proud of that. It basically shows continuous improvement and very high outcomes for over an 18-month period and a 2-year period. So those are 2 very important awards that we're very, very proud of. As well, the DDIC, the Danville Diagnostic Imaging Center, recently received an award for service leadership at the Southeast or the Southern Piedmont Technology Council. And DDIC is our imaging center and do a fantastic job there. We look at patient ratings and patient outcomes and also patient satisfaction. Medicare looks at this, and in the past we've had fairly low scores here, and most recently as we look at those scores from our patients, we ask patients from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rank this hospital? And for inpatients, we're seeing that over 65% of our patients now are ranking us a 9 or a 10 in that level. And 90% or better of our outpatients are ranking us a 9 or 10. ED continues to be our challenge, and particularly with wait times, but we're seeing almost 60% of our patients now are ranking us with a 9 or 10. So we're seeing that continually to improve. And just to make sure the council knows that our focus continues to be on improving wait times and throughput for the emergency department. We're making good improvement there, but continue to focus on that moving forward. Make sure I get my notes correct here. Also, the Joint Commission in which we're accredited looks at some different scores and core measures. The lower the score that they give you, it's called an S3 score, the better. Back in 2009, our S3 score was 275, which is pretty high, and it's one of the highest that there are, which is not good. So most recently, in the second quarter of 2011, our S3 score is now at 28, so it's one of the lowest, actually lower than the average within the U.S., and so it's a very, very good indicator that there are things that we need to be concerned about. So it really is a good indicator of higher quality and outcomes. We've gone to a tobacco-free campus. We've been focused on that. And our cardiologists are very happy about us continue to push for that and make sure that we try and keep our patients and community as healthy as possible. But we just ask that people understand that when they come to the hospital, just know that there are a lot of patients there who are very much bothered by smoke, and so we want to make sure that we don't smoke on the campus, and appreciate the help with that. We've opened some new clinics, and I gave you a handout tonight to share with you some of the new clinics that we are opening and have opened. We saw a real need, and to also help alleviate some of the burden on the emergency department, we've opened a clinic on weekends. It's from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's on the Piney Forest Road office there. We saw 2 patients our first day, and we saw 22 patients our second day. So the word is starting to get out, and I think we saw 40 patients the following weekend. So it's getting busier and busier every weekend as we continue to work through that. Also, the Brownsville office is now open, as you know, and we announced that, I think, last quarter. We're seeing 40 to 50 patients a day already in the Brownsville office. And again, it's open extended hours and on half a day on weekends. We have a new clinic opening. Piedmont Psychiatry Associates will open in January. Dr. Kahn is a new physician joining us. And then we've also implemented a Wellness Works program to help employers look at 4 main areas, and that's occupational health and injury prevention, looking at workers' compensation, injury intervention, prevention of or wellness services and preventative health, and then just general health within our employee base. Physician recruitment for the final quarter has been, we've had 9 new hospitalists join the group. One of the focuses we've had is really make sure we have stabilized our hospitalist program, and I'll say that I'm very, very pleased, and I think many of our physicians are pleased in the caliber of hospitals we now have within the hospital. We also have Dr. Oberoi, who's family medicine, Dr. Desai, and Dr. Jazwani are both in infectious disease and internal medicine, and Dr. Galen, who is an anesthesiologist. Lastly, Dr. Steve Mahoney, who has been practicing in Martinsville, relocated and has his practice now in Danville. So very, very pleased about that. And we've been participating in health fairs recently, had very good outcomes with that. We helped sponsor a golf tournament for the free clinic locally. Been a part of a candlelight vigil and reception for the Danville Cancer Association. We have been helping many charities during this time. And I'm very, very proud to say that we just completed our United Way campaign for the year. We had 650 employees participate and raised over $71,000. So we had a very successful United Way campaign this year. And lastly, I just want to say thank you for all your support. Hope you all have a great holiday season and a happy new year, and would entertain any questions that you have.
Thank you, sir. Are you also sharing tonight?
I am sharing, yes, sir. Just a memento to show you what our new logo looks like, and use that as a paperweight. Please don't throw it at me. But I just want to share that with you all. And this is just a way to say thank you for all you've done to support our hospital.
Thank you, sir. Question for Mr. Deaton. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Stephen, I hope everybody understands the significance of not only the good scores the hospital overall has received recently, but the fact you brought almost a dozen new doctors to Danville. But even more importantly than that is something that was hard for me to grasp at first, is what a hospitalist is. And with more and more practices unable to operate out of their office and then leave and go take care of patients in the hospital, having full-time doctors, I think you mentioned 9 that you have recruited, that's wonderful, getting these new people into our town. These are professional people. And now when the doctors that we've been seeing for decades say, well, we can't operate here and in the hospital, we know we're being sent, and refer to good hospitalists, which was a hard word for me to ever learn, much less pronounce.
Yes,
and
sir.
we salute you for that. At least I do. I think it's great.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Deaton, I just appreciate your work. You have really changed the hospital around, and I've had the opportunity to see what has been done in the spirit, and that's most important. And for those in the community who may have still a negative opinion about the hospital, they need to check it out because it's not the same. And we just appreciate the work of LifePoint.
Thank you.
And also the staff.
But I would always continue to make sure council knows that if there are concerns of any type, please, and y'all have not been shy to do that, let me know when there's either someone I need to call or to address a situation that you know about.
And I'd like to say once again, LifePoint has made some serious commitments, even on some new things, and
Yes.
I am very appreciative for the board of LifePoint.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another hand over here. Mr. Shanks.
Eric, I too would like to tell you, I have seen, and I've had the opportunity to be in the hospital a great deal over the last 4 or 5 months, and the change is unbelievable. And I really can't express enough appreciation for what you have brought to this hospital and this community. Also, could you explain a little bit about the residency clinic?
I can. Yes, as you know, we have residents now through the Virginia College of Osteopathic Medicine. We have 35 residents, and they are either family medicine residents or internal medicine residents going into those types of specialties. As part of their practice of medicine, as they train as doctors, they have to train as a doctor would in a clinic. And so we have clinic time for patients to come and see their physicians. One group is with Dr. Bazzaretti's group, and then the other is in our medical office building across the street from the hospital. And it's very important that these physicians get to understand what it's like to develop a relationship with a patient. And they're not doing this by themselves. They have proctors that work with them. But it's a great opportunity also for someone who maybe doesn't have insurance, who needs access to a primary care doctor. A very good primary care doctor can utilize one of these clinics. But it's a training process. And I'll just say that I'm very proud of the residency program. The economic benefits about $1.8 million to our city locally, just by the salaries and benefits that they bring to us locally. But they also bring a new energy to the hospital and to our community. There's our 35 young doctors who are very excited to be here and living in our community every day.
And one last comment, if I may, Mayor.
Yes.
The emergency department.
Yes.
I cannot believe what a challenge that is, and I cannot compliment you and all the staff that works in there with the improvements that have been made. So I think everybody in the hospital has really stepped forward, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Other question, comment? Mr. Raleigh.
Eric, I'd just like to thank the hospital for being a great corporate citizen. Things that I'm involved in around the city, I always see one of your staff there volunteering and helping out, and I appreciate you backing them up and helping them.
Well, I think it's our obligation as a larger employer. I think we have the opportunity to do that, and you know, we live in the city, and we want it to continue to grow. And the best thing I can do is support people who want to be involved every day. So, but thank you. I'm happy to do that.
Dr. Miller.
I want to plug the residency residents. This is just a great program. It allows people to get a doctor that they'll follow for 3 or 4 years, and you know, once they may stay in the area in primary care, which you desperately need. You know, it also provides good coverage at night. You know, if somebody has trouble in the middle of the night, you know, if you're an attending physician like myself, you had to get up, get dressed, and go to the hospital. Well, these residents are in the hospital already, and they immediately respond to any problem of critical issue with the patient. They're right there. So it's really a benefit to patient care.
Thank you.
Other comments? Let me just say, Mr. Deaton, that I recall when you first came to Danville, and I remember the promises that you made, and I can tell you, you have kept all of your commitments.
Thank you.
I believe you're our city's, second largest employer, 1,400 employees.
About 1,300. Yes, sir.
And your work is very sophisticated, but I talk to your staff, I talk to patients, and I hear positive things all the time. I know that there's room for improvement, biggest room in any house, room for improvement, and you are doing that. So my hat is off to you and to your staff and leadership. You know, with all your employees, they watch their leader, okay? And what you do really just infiltrate through them. And I'm just hearing wonderful things from your staff. When people feel good about their job, they do good work, good quality work, okay? And I'm hearing that, I'm seeing that, and my hat is off to you. I would just simply say that council has allowed me to sit in this chair since January 2008, and it's a pleasure for my telephone not to ring. Thank you so very much. But special thanks to your staff and to their families as well. And on behalf of all of the patients that you've served and you will serve, we know that you are a man of your commitments. And we thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you all very much.
Those who wish to speak on matters that are not listed on the agenda will be heard at this time. If you wish to speak on any agenda item, you will be heard when that item is considered. Yes, sir. Please come forward and give your name, please.
Good evening. My name is Charles C. Fitzgerald Sr. I live at 331 Poplar Street, apartment 8, Danville, Virginia. Good evening to the City Council and people in the audience. I came in with a lot of thoughts today. My main thought is that in the city of Danville, I'm watching the decline in employment and different things. I would like to bring a D-League NBA team in. I'd like to bring a WNBA team in. I would like to also have a Coliseum built here. We need to stand up and save ourselves. We can't look for a big corporation to come in and do this and do that. If we was to invest in ourselves, that's why I came to the City Council before I approached anybody in the NBA, WNBA, D-League NBA. I feel that a Coliseum would create an economy and a positive effect on the kids and the people in the city because it'll give them a better outlook of things to see. In Danville, we could take a lot of their museums and stuff, consolidate them, and make things positive happen. We need positive action. We don't need talk here. We're in dire need of saving these kids. We all are grown-ups. We done lived our lives. We still living. We all got kids, grandkids. My kid got shot in the head April the 5th, 2011. He lived. But some people's kids are not living. That's because they're stuck in places, they're doing things, they can't see things. There's no big picture no more. There's nothing to strive for no more. Selling drugs is not an option. It's not an option. Every kid feels that, oh, I get a bag of drugs, I run in the street, I can get rich. You can get rich doing the right thing, if the right thing is present. It's not their fault that they are standing around there doing nothing. It's our fault. We're the adults. We got to change it. We got to pull them up. We got to take care of them. If we don't take care of them, we're going to lose. We're losing our most valuable assets in the city, our kids. Our kids are very important. I would really like to have the Coliseum built in the old Schoolfield Mill building. It's an eyesore. Tear everything down, build something positive. Thank you. Y'all have a nice day and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir. Your name, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
distinguished mayor. My name is Tyrone Grove, and I posed a plan to the city and city council, and I hope that y'all got a chance to take a look at it. And I'm concerned with, I haven't heard anything back about the plan, and everybody's complaining about the high cost of energy and there's no jobs. I thought that this plan would be perfect for creating some job for some people, even if we had to incorporate others into the plan to make it beneficial to all. But I think the plan seriously needs to be taken a look at, and that we need to concentrate on some of the companies that are within our limits to create jobs for our people. Any questions?
Yeah. Any comments on Mr. King?
Comments? Any questions?
Any comments? Question, comments? Okay, so you want a response to the plan you submitted to us?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get one to you, sir. We'll get a response to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir. Your name, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Minister Lovelace. I pastor the church over on Temple Road, and I have purchased the old Winslow nursing home. I completely remodeled the nursing home and put new air conditioning units in, heat pumps, rewired it, done the fire system, everything over, and I'm opening it up for an Alzheimer's unit. I want to be able to take care of Alzheimer's people, and that it would employ roughly around about 20 people when it is at full staff. I pay for all of the remodeling, everything in the building, cash out of my own pocket. And what I'm here for tonight is to ask City Council, would they financially help me to open the business up, you know, and get it started, and not say that I have a whole lot of bills hanging over the place. I pay for everything that I put in it. It was cash money out of my pocket, and I just kept digging in the well. There's nothing left in the well. As you all may know, that there's a little, not too much here in Danville in the way of where Alzheimer's people is being kept. I was speaking to someone from Riverside Healthcare last week. They had to send 6 Alzheimer's people to Martinsville because Danville don't have anywhere to keep them at. Not only am I offering a place for Alzheimer's people, I am also offering a place as a daycare for Alzheimer's people, wherein that people they are confined at their homes because they got a loved one there that have to be attended to 24/7, and they can't get away from the house. They got kids there, you know, with Alzheimer's. They can't get away from their home. And this right here will offer some kind of relief, you know, to our citizens. Not only will it offer some kind of relief to them, it would also bring tax dollars back into the city. It will also offer some kind of employment for the people here in Danville. I'm not asking for a whole lot, but I'm asking for as much as I can get. You know, to try to get it off the ground, because the state requires that you have so much money set for your overhead. You have to have a guarantee of money that you'll be able to afford the building, you know, to pay your staff, pay for your food, you know, all of your expenses. So I paid for the building, you know, I got everything in it set, matches in it, with Mayor Saunders. He was over there, he looked through the building. The city manager, he was there, he looked through the building. Mr. Campbell, he was there, he looked through the building. It's not a rinky-dink, run-down building. It's one that is up to date, and it's one that people will be proud to come and stay in. Any questions?
Question coming from Mr. Lovelace. Anyone? Dr. Miller?
Thank you for doing this. This, unfortunately, is an ever-growing population. It puts a tremendous burden on the family members. I remember when my mother developed advanced Alzheimer's, we had to send her to another city. There was just nobody here, which is quite a distance away from us. So certainly commend you. would you have the city do exactly? What
Well,
sort of, we couldn't run this or couldn't,
I have the staff ready to run. I have people, they are waiting. I need $50,000.
and how would you keep it running? I mean,
What that would do, that would guarantee the state that I have my startup money, that I am sufficient. I'm financially able to pay the staff and keep the building up.
Other questions or comments? Mr. Jones?
When is the possibility that we can tour it?
Anytime.
Just give you a call?
Just give me a call anytime, My telephone number is area code 434-429-3226. And not only that, but I have other plans as well, which I'm not going to get into them tonight, but I want to try to reinvest back into the community, which I had talked to the city manager about. I talked to Mayor Saunders about it. Some of my plans, but after I sit down and draw it up, I want to bring those plans back to city council too, because we need to start investing in Danville and in our kids in Danville. And we need to start being concerned instead of talking about it. We got to start doing something about it.
Okay, other questions or comments? Reverend Lovelace, I think most of us are familiar with the Winslow Hospital, and you're right, we had the tour just last week. You have done a lot of work, and great work, and thank you for your investment in our city. I will actually get the city manager to discuss your plan to see. I don't know we can do. I cannot make commitments tonight. I don't think council can, but if there are ways we can assist you, I know we want to do that. So I'll ask the manager to meet with you and to see what can be done to get your facility open. And like others, my family too has been touched by Alzheimer's, okay, and other illnesses as well. So thank you, sir.
And also, I want to dedicate it back to Dr. Winslow and rename it back to Winslow, because it's a historical site. And also, it let us know some of the history in Danville and let us know where we're coming from so that we can know where we're headed to. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak on any items not on the agenda? Yes, sir. Your name, please.
Mike Owen, and I'm a landlord to a limited degree in Danville in Pennsylvania County. About 2 weeks ago, I received a letter from the Inspections Division of the City of Danville telling me that my single condo, which happens to be located in the Cherokee Court complex, has been declared a derelict building according to Section 9-126. And furthermore, that I was supposed to submit a written plan to either renovate or demolish the referenced building. It's not a building, it's a condo, which is like an apartment inside a building. I purchased this condo some time back in good faith. I did thousands of dollars of work to it, not counting my labor, in addition to the purchase price. The City of Danville cut off my water and my sewer and my electric without any due process of law against me, through no fault of my own, and in effect seized my property. Didn't offer to pay me a dime, so it is, it's in effect useless to me, all because of the actions of one Mr. Carter, whom I neither know nor am I associated with. And I was in effect given two options to renovate. In order to renovate this property, I suppose I'm supposed to commit criminal trespass, tear down the plywood that's covering the access to my condo, and to their specifications without utilities, of course. And, even if I went in there and made a showplace out of it, the city of Danville was not going to restore my water and sewer and electric, because you can't, it's one condo in the complex, and it's just not, you can't do it. So, in addition, I wouldn't have any heat or air conditioning, even if I had electric, because that building has a central heating and air conditioning system that covers the entire building, not each individual condo. So that's not going to happen. As a side note, I just like to point out that at the time the property was rendered useless to me, it wasn't in bad a shape. It didn't need much work to, whether I was a resident there, and it wouldn't have needed that much work to make it useful after that resident left. But as a result of the city's actions, it's set there, so it tells me what kind of shape it's in now. The other option, that of demolition, again, I guess I'm supposed to commit criminal trespass and somehow or another go in there and surgically remove my condo, which is be quite a trick. In light of what I've said, I am, appealing to the members of this council in the hopes that common sense and fair play can and will prevail. If anybody should be held responsible in this situation, it should be Mr. Carter.
Thank you for sharing your concern with us tonight. Obviously, you have a concern.
Yes, sir.
Are you seeking any specific redress?
Well, I would like it if the inspection department would, not hold me responsible for this. It's beyond my control, and I have no choice in it.
Okay. Mr. King, could you or your staff perhaps meet the gentleman after the meeting later on to discuss this matter? Mr. Vice Mayor?
Well, I just need a little more information. You said it's on Cherokee Court. That would be in Cabin Lake, correct? So when did you buy this condo? Is it the last 2 years or 5? And after the fire or what?
It's probably been 6-7 years ago.
Well, you only own the inside airspace of your unit, so the outside, the city is talking to somebody else to tear down. That would be the Unit Owners Association, of which you are a member and have a vote. And I don't know I just don't know what happened to it after the guy quit paying all the bills. But I do know that there's one big meter over there, and everybody goes through that one meter. And when he defaulted, it turned off everybody.
Well, originally there were many owners.
It was 146 originally.
Right, and of course they had a couple of fires over there, destroyed units and everything. And but Mr. is not, if I'm correct, there were only about 3, 4 other individual owners other than myself. All the other condos were owned by Mr. Carr. So it was a consolidation effort by him. And actually, I had 2 or maybe even 3 contracts to buy my condo, and I was certainly open to that. But apparently he failed to make payments to the utilities department, and the city consequently shut everything down.
You have more, Mr. Vice Mayor?
No, I just wanted to isolate where he was on Cherokee Court so I could understand.
Mr. Jones?
I think the Vice Mayor answered my question. We're talking about Cabin Lake, and we're talking about the Cabin Lake that burned down because of the fire. And the insurance companies came in. I don't need to get into your personal business, but are you saying that we are asking you to restore just your unit when the whole place half of the place is burned down?
I have the letter in my pocket. I'd be glad to let you read it. That seems to be what I'm being required to do.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
It
Ms.
makes no
Gilstrap.
sense to me.
Ms. Gilstrap?
How many people are actually living in the complex presently?
No, nobody.
None.
None. The building.
So all 146 units are vacant?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The building was shut down. The utilities were shut off to everybody. All water, all sewer, all electric was shut off. And it's my understanding that as a result of Mr. Carter not paying the utility bill to the city.
Other questions or comments? Thank you, sir, and please share your concern with the city manager, and I'm sure he'll get in touch with us with regards to what the next step may be.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak? Anyone else? Yes. Yes, sir.
Support or the approval to approach the people about my ideas, like in the NBA, D-League NBA, and WNBA. I have a couple of meetings with some people, and I don't want to overstep and go out and pull these people in, and then I don't have the.
Ms. Fitzgerald, what I would recommend before you do that you meet with the city manager or his designee to discuss your plans before you go further, okay?
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Under old business, consideration of amending the FY 2012 budget appropriation ordinance to provide for a grant for the Department of Emergency Management in the amount of $185,000. I'm sorry. We need to do the minutes, don't we? Thank you, Mr. City Attorney and Madam Clerk and all those hands to my left and right. I appreciate that. Reverse. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our November 1st, 2011 meeting? Dr. Miller, second by Mr. Campbell. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Luther.
Aye.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh.
Aye.
Mayor Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Tomer.
Aye.
Old business. Consideration of amending FY 2012 budget appropriation ordinance to provide for a grant for the Department of Emergency Management in the amount of $185,014 for replacement of the police department's records management system. Is there a motion? Mr. Shanks.
Yes, Mayor, I move for adoption of an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2012 budget appropriation ordinance by increasing revenue from the fiscal year 2010 State Homeland Security Program in the amount of $185,814 to be used to enhance the Danville Police Department's regional information sharing by providing funds for the replacement of its records management system.
Okay, is there a second? Mr. Raleigh. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Gilstrap.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Luther.
Aye.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh.
Aye.
Mayor Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Tomer.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Item B, consideration of amending FY 2012 budget provision ordinance to provide for the funds, United States Department of Justice, Edward Burns Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, in the amount of $32,054 for the police department. Is there a motion? Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of ordinance amending the fiscal year 2012 budget appropriation ordinance by increasing revenue for the fiscal year 2011 Edward Bryan Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program in the amount of $32,154 to be used to the purchase of an interrogation room audio-video recording system and an officer-borne audio-video recording device.
Okay, the second. Mr. Shanks. Discussion on the motion. Mr. Vice Mayor.
I noticed in the discussion that there's a plan to use some of this money in addition to rehabbing the piecemeal interrogation room we have now to get 5 cameras for officers to wear on their person. Officers have had these cameras in some of the neighborhood programs that have where we really concentrate on crime. If in the current issue of the VML magazine, the VML insurance company offered to buy cameras for everyone on the police department insured by VML. And I understand that would apply to Danville. So we wouldn't be limited to those 5. Every officer, which was the hope of the chief, as I read this, is for every officer to have one of these cameras. But under further investigation, I found the VA, the Virginia Municipal League cameras are not the high-quality cameras that the federal government is buying in this program. And I just want to point that out in case someone else happened to notice in the VML magazine, they were offering free cameras to all the police officers. But as I said, I understand they're good cameras, but not quite as long-lived and good quality. So I just want to point that out. And this is a great use of our money, of their money, actually.
Sir. Great observation. Further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Luther?
Aye.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh?
Aye.
Mayor Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Tomer?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Gilstrap?
Aye. Appointments, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, since we've all discussed this in 2 sessions, I'd like to do this in one motion, if I may, unless someone objects.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I, Mr. Mayor, offer consideration of these appointments to the city's boards and commissions. A resolution appointing Jeff Bond as a member of the Building Code Board of Appeals. Resolution appointing Jeff Haley as a member of the Employees Retirement System Board of Trustees and the other Post-Employment Benefits Board. A resolution appointing former Vice Mayor T. Wayne Oakes as a member of the Employees Retirement System Board of Trustees, other Post-Employment Benefit Board. A resolution reappointing Wendy Everson as a member of the Fair Housing Board. Resolution reappointing Hampton Wilkins as a member of the Fair Housing Board. A resolution reappointing Robert Q. Jones as a member of the Planning Commission. And a resolution reappointing Michael Scarce as a member of the Planning Commission.
Okay, the second, Mr. Raleigh. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Luther?
Aye.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh?
Aye.
Mayor Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Tomer?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Gilstrap?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye. New business consideration of adopting the West Piedmont Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan for the West Piedmont Plan District Commission. I open the public hearing. Anyone wish to speak? Anyone wish to speak? I close the public hearing. Council, your pleasure. Mr. Raleigh.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution adopting the West Piedmont Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan for the West Piedmont Planning District communities.
Second by Dr. Miller. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk?
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh?
Aye.
Mayor Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Tomer?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Gilstrap?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Luther?
Aye.
Consideration of amending FY 2012 Budget Appropriation Ordinance to provide for additional state aviation funding for the purpose of completing design services to rehabilitate Taxiway H at the Danville Regional Airport. Is there a motion? Dr. Miller.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2012 budget appropriation ordinance to provide for additional state aviation funding for the purpose of completing design services to rehabilitate Taxiway H at the Danville Regional Airport in the amount of $31,200, and for the local share in the amount of $7,800 to be provided by the general fund for a total appropriation of $39,000.
Okay, second, Mr. Gilstrap. Discussion on the motion? Discussion on the motion. First reading. Okay. Communication, Mr. Manager.
None this evening, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Attorney.
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
And Madam Clerk.
Nothing, sir.
Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Shanks?
Just a couple of things, Mayor. Let's see. First of all, there's a wonderful, very good ad that the Chamber of Commerce has with regard to a gentleman that was buying something specific out of town and said that he found out that he could get it in Danville and he chose to buy it in Danville. It's a good advertisement, but it also emphasizes how important it is this year, more so than ever, to shop in Danville during the holiday season the best you can. I know the products that are out of town that you just have to get, but there's no reason to hit all the other stores while you're out of town. So I would encourage our citizens. Last year was my first year that I've done all my shopping in Danville. I don't think it was a bad Christmas. So I would encourage everybody, if they can, to shop in Danville. And second, last item is coming up next week, the Ascension Lutheran Church is going to have its 55th Christmas tree open for public display. And it's just about every night from 7 to 9. This year's tree is about 22 feet tall. It's huge. But it's an opportunity to see the many stories of the Bible on a tree. And they're all Christmas, monuments of Christ. And it's a beautiful opportunity. I hope all the members of council and the city manager and deputy city manager and everyone here and out in the city will come by and take a look at all the wonderful stories. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Toma?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Reverend Campbell?
Yes, I have a few things. As mayor and the citizens of Danville, I'm very thankful for the citizens who came out to the town hall meeting that was on Friday night, and there was about 6 council persons that was there. It was impressive to see the city working with community on the issue of violence. And we do know that here recently we had a string of homicides, and we have a lot of people in the community who are very concerned. The initiative for the town hall was put together by David Wilson and Justin Furrow, and I'm thankful for their energies in doing that. To the city manager, Mr. King, I'm very happy to see how you are having the community input forums going around town with the budget. We do realize that the coming budget is going to be difficult. There were questions that were asked to me. Just like to ask you a couple questions. Procurement, the statement of Friday night employment as being a major issue, and some people spoke out saying that some people are not getting a fair shake of the contracts that are given here within the city. Could you explain the process of procurement, and if they don't understand how the process could be more enhanced?
All of the construction contracts the city lets are the result of a competitive bidding process. Right now, there's a tremendous amount of competition. Mm-hmm. So even very small jobs attract a large number of contractors from a wide area. So it's a very tough bidding situation for contractors. But every contract is open for competitive bid. We do have in our code language that authorizes us to give special consideration to a local contractor if the bids are equal and other considerations are equal. So if the 2 contractors come out even in that competition and one is local and one is not, we have the authority to grant the contract to the local contractor.
Okay, thank you. And the last question. I had a call today from a citizen who was complaining because the lights were cut off. There was a $50 charge, she stated, that was charging her in the process of cutting her lights off. Then there was another $50 charge to have her lights cut back on. Is that, right? You know, if that's the procedures for the city?
There is a penalty for disconnect and a charge for reconnection. Now, this follows a period, you may recall, that was extended, a time period. So we now have an extended period of time with multiple warnings if you fall behind. And if you finally do get to the point where you're not paying your bill, it will be cut off and you'll be charged a penalty and you will have to pay a reconnect fee. And that's to recover the costs. The disconnection we can do remotely. The connection, for safety reasons, we have to have contact with somebody to make sure the power is not turned on and inadvertently a burner left on the stove or something like that. So we do have established fees. These have been in place for years. And you do pay a penalty for a delinquent account, and you do pay a penalty for cutting your service back on.
Okay. With the high poverty rate was 23 up to 27%. I hope that we'll talk about it. Something could be adjusted on that. It's bad to be in a financial situation, and then you're going to, I understand what you're saying. You're going to charge them to cut the lights off, and then you're going to charge them to cut it back on. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Gilstrap?
Yes, I've had several employees to either call or email or write or in person thank me for their bonuses, and I would like to express my appreciation to them that they acknowledge that we recognize them. I too would like to thank the organizers of the Speak Up, Speak Out forum. I thought it was very informative, and we had some citizens that I thought produced a lot of really good ideas for the city to and for the residents themselves to look into. And look forward to seeing everyone at the Christmas parade Saturday. I believe it's at 6 o'clock. So be sure you're there, and let's wave together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
Mr. Mayor, one of the things that came out of the Speak Up, Speak Out forum for me was people getting involved. And I remember Vice Mayor Luther stated that he wanted to see more people get involved. And this evening when Mr. Fitzgerald came in and talked about progression for our youth, sometimes we talk about the dollars. We don't know where the dollar's coming from. But it's always good to hear ideas and great ideas. Just to read in the paper yesterday, the North Theater, somebody out of town said they come in and buy the North Theater. We never know who's getting those messages. Also, when Mr. Lovelace talked about our senior citizens and Alzheimer's, getting everybody involved, and then Mr. Grove comes in and talked about how we can get together and try to build something or do something to employ people. That's what it's all about. Not Mr. Vice Mayor Luther, I want to thank you for that because we need to hear from you all. We want to hear from you all. And if I could just close with what Mr. Wiley said in his prayer, if I could ditto what he said in his prayer. He said, remember someone you are thankful for this season and tell them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Luther?
To follow up Mr. Jones, the three gentlemen who came here tonight, there was a common theme, even though one was talking about Alzheimer's and a Coliseum, and the other was talking about how he has a plan to help create jobs. It's that create jobs that's an underlying theme in all three of what people had to say. And I think as Mr. Fitzgerald first said, we as adults have to take some of the blame for this delinquency we see by not providing more opportunities for our young people. I think we need to do that, and we need to do that. I know we're doing it the best we can in our ability, but we need the suggestions, as you suggest, and others, of other people coming in with thoughts and doable ideas. And the one thing that was said tonight, I think Mr. Lux said, you got to know where you're coming from so we can know where we're going. That's something I've always believed in, knowing our past, because it can determine our future. We shouldn't be ashamed of our past. We shouldn't put it out of our minds. We should use it as a future roadmap to success. And I appreciate you thinking about that, saying that here tonight, because I think that is some good advice for us here in Danville. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Miller?
I want to thank Mr. Wilson for putting together not only town hall, but the candlelight vigils. I was at one of those, and somebody asked me how I was feeling tonight, and I said, well, I'm glad. I'm glad it's the holiday season. Everybody's full of cheer, but I was very sad because young men had been senselessly murdered, and their families had to grieve while everyone else was celebrating. We've just got to get a better handle and work together to prevent these crimes, which just fester in the milieu of poverty, lack of education, lack of jobs, lack of respect for your fellow human. I think if one of us die in this town senselessly, then all of us must die a little bit inside. We've got to do better. And secondly, there was an article recently about the mega park and the Appalachian Power, and it came out in utilities, and I'd gotten a misconception that certainly somebody else might be wanting to do the utilities for the mega park, which of course would be in the short-term benefit to the city, and also allow us to put in little smaller industries rather than the giant industry at first. But I think there was some I think that Mr. King might want to clear up on that that's not a done deal by any means.
It isn't a done deal, and we will be bringing this to the Utility Commission and the City Council shortly after the new year. The smaller industry that AEP would need to justify their investment is not nearly the size I had anticipated. It's smaller than what we would need, but it's still in the Goodyear range in terms of power consumption. So Goodyear is an AEP customer, and they're like a 25 megawatt size customer. So they're saying they could provide the service if they had a 30 megawatt customer, 25 to 30, which is smaller than what we'd have to attract to make it pay out for us. But still, it's not the little industries that I had anticipated. So I stand corrected on that. We will be discussing this thoroughly with the council in January, and there are advantages in both approaches. And the biggest advantage with AEP is they would make the investment with some guarantee of a customer big enough to get a return on that. So they would be borrowing the money or supplying the money one way or the other instead of us going to the bond market and issuing bonds. And frankly, they can serve the customer at a lower rate than we can because they generate their own electricity. And so when you consider a very, very large industry wanting as low a rate as possible, we can actually be more competitive with AEP serving that large customer than we can ourselves. But the jury is still very much out. They've simply said they would be willing to serve, and then the details are going to help us decide whether we think it's best for them to serve.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Raleigh?
Mr. Mayor, this Saturday, before the Christmas parade, Avery University will hold winter graduation. Hundreds of people will be in the city Friday night and Saturday night. And I would suggest if you're in the Mount Crossroad area, from about 8:30 in the morning till about 12:30 in the afternoon, it'll be quite a bit of traffic on the front end of those times in that area. But we're glad to have all of our visitors coming to Danville for this weekend.
Thank you.
Mayor Saunders.
Regarding economic development, I encourage us to look at the city's report cards in terms of how we are faring 2010, 11, and 12. Good indicators here, so I encourage us to peruse that. Also, I received the same call Mr. Campbell talked about, Mr. King, regarding the penalty for $50 turn off, $50 turn back on, that same concern. Also, the Speak Out Forum town hall meeting last Friday night. I, too, want to thank the organizers for putting together. I thought the attendance was very good. I took several notes. The panel, I thought, did a good job in their discussion. The panel talked about listening skills, respect, diversity, cultural discovery, fathers in the home, family responsibility, education, jobs, incarceration, high unemployment, volunteering to work and lead to employment, conduct another gun buyback program, and others. There were several audience comments made that night, and some of those comments included city leaders cannot solve our problems. We must do it ourselves. Old heads need to talk to the young people. Men need to step up. Women will follow. Their words, not mine. I'm not a chauvinist. Each community should have a recognizable leader. Take this forum to each and all communities. Neighborhood associations should be more active. Parents should be children's role models. Prevention is key to success. Each family should teach it. Diversity, labels, and cop-outs. City putting money in one neighborhood and not the other neighborhood. Need more referrals and use of resources. Minority contractors, bidding, jobs, example, weatherization. Churches and their role in fixing some community problems. Need more people to work with, help those with problems and in need. Black on black crime. Start Take Back the City campaign. Making our city better is everybody's job. Similar efforts were tried in 1987. Role models in schools are needed, especially African American males. Cities' high unemployment rate, high poverty rate, 27-30%. Churches not helping people because they are members of their church. Need better lighting in neighborhoods and communities, and more. A lot of dialogue, a lot came out, and I understand there will be a follow-up meeting, and I look forward to that follow-up meeting. Again, I would encourage everyone to attend the Safe Neighborhood, the Safe Danville Coalition meetings. If you have more than one group, that's fine. Again, more dialogue, more input leads to a better conclusion, better results. And I encourage us to understand that when you take someone's life or when you disrespect someone, you're doing it to essentially your own family, okay? Your own family. I've said before, I'll say again, if we treat each person as if the lady was our mother, the man was our father, or the son was our brother, the daughter our sister, if we just love each other, respect each other, some of this bad behavior will stop. We know that this time of year, a lot of people suffer from depression. That is a real issue. But I understand we just need to remember, no matter how bad a person may be doing, economically and or otherwise, we could be that person. So I would encourage us to just show a little bit more love, more understanding, and let's listen. One of the greatest needs in life people have is for someone to listen to them. So let's listen. And let's understand that crime, violence, any form of crime or violence is not the answer. It simply isn't the answer. Danville is a great city. We are growing. We are improving our city. We have wonderful plans for our city. They are coming together. They are coming together. We must focus on that which is positive. That which is positive. If people are talking about negative kinds of things, I encourage you to leave them, okay? Because they might get tired of talking to themselves, okay? If people are expressing a concern, listen, please. Listen. And remember, there may be 9 of us sitting here representing 43,000 people, okay? We need your input. We do not have all the answers. But this is your city. Economic development is everybody's business, whether it be money, whether it be something positive, saying something good about our city, about our children. And let's understand when we have bad things to happen, those numbers as compared to the whole would not be the true picture of our city. We have a few people doing bad things that make the great majority look bad. Okay? So this is home. This is Danville, a great place. Please love it, respect it, and most especially just listen. Let's just listen more. Just listen. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.